Well, hello, I'm back again with the finishing touches for this little stacking pumpkin hoop that I did in the last video. I looked at some of the suggestions. Somebody said a caterpillar and I kind of fancied that as well. Little crawly caterpillar, so that's what I did. Somebody also said a disco snail. Now I've got ideas for disco snails. So there may be disco snails cropping up in the future. But I thought this little caterpillar guy fitted in with the colours. My disco snails are very bright and breezy and I didn't want them to take over the whole of the piece, which they would have done. They'd have stolen the show. Those disco snails are divas, honestly. So I digress. So I needle felted this little caterpillar. Remember this pumpkin orange colour? Well, I varied that with this variegated yarn? No, roving that I had in little circles, and then just needle felted those down and then just put some details on his face. So he's now as smiley as the pumpkins. He's got some little legs in there as well. Because he's extra, I have put a little bit of the Stickles glue just over the top of him there so that he has a bit of a shine now as well. Trying to steal the show like the disco snails, I'm telling you. So what I'm thinking now is I might embroider some little stars just into the top there in some gold, and then that will be done. So now I need to grab myself my gold thread and we can do that. So I have got this DMC, which is sadly getting to the end of its reel, but I have got another one. Hooray! This is a DMC Diamante Grande. You get, is it 20 meters on a roll? On a reel? On a roll? On a reel of that. So yeah, I'm going to use that. And I'm just going to do some simple stars. You know I love stars, and usually I would put in some of those glittery fabric stars, but I don't want it to be taken over so much because there's not much room left on this hoop now. So I'm just going to go up from the bottom, through, down, then I'm going to go make a plus sign. Whoops. Oh dear, hooking half the table up. This is how it is when you've got a messy table. Believe me, I've got people in my group saying, no, your table does not. Believe me, this table is a complete and utter tip. And one of my next jobs is to do a sort. Sharon said, would you do a studio tour at some point in time? Yes, Sharon, I've had that on the plans for ages. I've never actually got around to it because my room's never been, well, passably tidy enough to see what it's like. The closest I ever got was when I did the video interview with Annie Claxton on her channel on one of her Saturday night arty-farty parties, and you got to see a little bit of it then, but not much. So yes, Sharon, I will be doing some kind of a studio tour at some point. I'd like to get it in some kind of an order before I do that. The trouble is, I get my place in a nice tidy state, but as an artist and maker, I can't keep it that way. Things have to be used, so artist, maker, tidy do not really go together in the same sentence generally. I know I've seen some beautiful spaces that are all perfectly coordinated and tidy, but sadly mine is not one of them. It's a working studio. It's yeah, I'm going to say that. So I'm going to put 5 stars on here because I like odd numbers. I don't like even numbers so much, so odd numbers it is. Odd numbers always look better in pieces. I don't know what it is. I can't be doing with the symmetrical. Oh dear. I mean, even vases, they're supposed to be symmetrical, but they're really not, are they? They're not. If you take two halves of a picture of a face and look at them separately, I know there's been studies on this before, they're different. They're not properly symmetrical. Although I do like a circle, and that's symmetrical all the way around, whichever way you look at it. I'm just contrary. What can I say? Okay, I'm going a bit crazy with these stars, but I'm enjoying doing them, so I'm just carrying on. Another tiny one here, and that will be me done with the stars. You noticed I have not stopped to carry them, you know, to sort of finish them off there and carry on in a different spot. No. I am carrying the thread along the back with gay abandon, as if I had never wasn't running out of this at all. Never mind. Okay, now I have my 5 stars and my little caterpillar dude down in the bottom. I am going to call that a day with this. I could go madly into it, add more. You can if you want to. You know, as I say, there are no police coming around to check on what you've done. So you do what you like. If you want to do a disco snail down there, go for it. You go for the disco snail. But I'm quite happy with this little guy. I need a name for him. Actually, the pumpkins need names too. Think of any names. They've got to be 3 for the pumpkins and 1 for the caterpillar, please. So 4 names in total. Not asking for much, am I? And yeah, kind of happy with that. So I'm going to fasten this thread off and then I'll show you how I finish the hoop. Right, so the way this goes is I am going to just trim this down slightly. It's like 2 centimeters maybe. So some of this is a bit more randomly cut than others. So I'm just trimming it down. So it's vaguely the same distance. Do you know what? It doesn't really matter. It's just from my aesthetic purposes. So that it will please me a little, maybe. Just trim it down. Okay, we're back to the black thread. You can do it in whatever colour you like. In fact, I'm lying to you. I might go this brown just so you can see it. It's much easier than doing black on black. Don't you agree? Which was a mad idea. If I was doing this just for myself, I might have just gone with the black because it's daylight and I can actually see what I'm doing. Black on black at night time, not so much. Not a fan. The only way I can do that if I'm doing it at night is to put my light box on and then just hold my embroidery or whatever over the top of the light box. Especially I'm doing some cross stitch at the minute with the witchy stitcher, and it's like a set of tarot cards, and I've got black. It's a black plastic canvas, and when I'm doing black on the black plastic canvas, it's kind of a bit of a nightmare. A bit of a mare, but it's all good. Okay, flipping this over, seeing where the top is. I'm going to go in and I'm going to go around the edge of my piece with this thread. It's a nice strong pearl thread, so you can use any thread you like. It doesn't have to be a fancy thread for this. It's just that this one's on my desk, and hopefully you can see there. That's like a running stitch going around the edge of here. What are you all watching at the moment? I don't watch a lot of TV, but when I do, I like to watch something that's either very funny or Bake Off, which I'm also watching. Love Bake Off. Love Noel Fielding, really, but love Bake Off. Yeah, so when I'm watching, I like to watch something that's either very scary or makes you think a lot. And one of those programs that I've been watching recently is Ludwig, and it stars David Mitchell of Peep Show fame. And the character of Ludwig, I'm not going to spoil it for you, the character of Ludwig matches David Mitchell to a T. He was made for this part. I'll just say that. I know David Mitchell is not a character actor. He tends to play himself in everything, really. Yeah, this will go perfectly. And I've loved everything that I like his humour. He's a very intelligent guy. I don't know if you've ever seen Upstart Crow, which was based on Shakespeare, but it was a comedy, and I loved that. So yeah, anything with David Mitchell in. Now, David Mitchell, not to be confused with the David Mitchell who writes books. There are two David Mitchells, and I love them both. So David Mitchell who writes books is also awesome as well, and itching to reread one of my favourite books by him, which I'll have to drag into my Audible. Actually, I think I've already got it on Audible, just so I can have it read to me while I work. And that is going to be my next read, probably, when I finish the one I'm reading at the minute. I say reading, but it's more listening. I do read. I love to read. I love books. I've always loved books. As you know, if you've been with me on this channel for a while, I've got, well, a lot of books on a lot of things. Fiction books I love, and there are fiction books that I love that I have kept because I love them so much and I will reread them. But generally, when I've read something, I'll try and pass it on. Hopefully you've seen what I'm doing with this. Oh, in case you were wondering which book it was that I want to reread, it's Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. I just remembered I forgot to tell you that bit. Yeah, Cloud Atlas. Well, all of the David Mitchell books I love anyway. So, right. Now I'm going to find the end of that. So the end of where I started, and this bit here, just going to unthread it, makes it life easier, and I'm just going to pull it up. So pull it up, and then I do a right over left and under. Gosh, come on, fingers are not working. And then a left over right and under. Anybody knows what that knot is? There's no prizes. You'll just get a thumbs up from me. Okay, so that has now pulled in all that excess felt that was on the outside. Now what we want to do is to get a circle, and what I do is I get the circle of stiff felt, you know, the stuff that's we can do it with either. You can do it with felt that is floppy like this, or you can do it with the stiff felt. Usually I do it with the stiff felt. I'm not sure which way to go this time. Decisions. I'll go and have a look at my felt stash and see what I've got, and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. I found some slightly stiff felt in an orange that I want to put on the back of here, just because I could have gone black, but I'm going orange. And what you need it to be is smaller than the outer hoop, maybe just slightly smaller than the inner hoop as well. So what I did was I drew around the outside, because silly me forgot to trace around the inner one when I had it available. Never mind. I'm too lazy to go and get another 6-inch hoop out, so I could do that. But yeah, then just trimmed it down to the size so it's kind of smaller than the black. And what we need to do now is I'm going to get a black thread. I can do black on orange. We can do this. Cut myself a decent amount off. Threading the needle, like so. Knot in the bottom, like so. Let's trim that, it's a bit long. Actually, not big enough either. Let's do a double knot. There we go. Right. What I need to do is to trim these bits. Actually, I'll leave them longish, just in case I need to reframe it at any point in time. Just makes life easier. So I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to go in a little bit. I'm going to eyeball the centre-ish of that bit there. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's just the way I do it. And I'm going to go a little bit of the inner black and then into the orange over so. Get rid of that bit there that's wanting to join in. And you're going to go around the whole of this piece, just doing this. Get into a rhythm, it's kind of relaxing, which is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to bring you peace. And this does bring me peace, so that's all good. So yeah, I was talking about the programme Ludwig. They're going to make a second series, I think, because it's been very, very popular. And so I shall look forward to that in the future. People not sure what it's about. It's kind of like this guy who devises puzzles. That's his job. And his name, well, it's not his real name. His name as a puzzle maker is called Ludwig, and that's what the show's called after. And yeah, I'm not going to tell you anymore because it is very, very good. Don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. I really enjoyed watching that. I have binged it over the past few nights. When I say binge, I mean like a couple of nights, not going through and sitting through the whole lot. There's 6 episodes. So over the last 4 or 5 nights, we've been watching that. That's been very good. Okay, so of you watching me sit and do this and waffle on, I'm going to go and finish this off and I'll be back when it's done. Okay, so the back is all stitched on. It's not quite circular, but who's looking? Well, you are actually. But it doesn't really matter. It's a back and it's covered over the stitch, which is what I wanted it to do, and made it somewhat neat. The front is done. And all I did was I just made a little tiny bow to go over the top bit of the screw where it hangs up. You can literally hang that there if you wanted to. Just to hang up and display. It doesn't need to be covered over. If you need to clean it, just give it a little hairdryer once over to remove any bits of dust. But that's it. It's all finished and I'm quite happy with how it turned out. If you have a go, please tag me. If you've got Instagram, tag me at Cool Kooky Creatures. I will have a look and come and see what you've made from it. Also, good place to put it is my Facebook group. So Facebook group is in the description down below, the link to it. Come and join us, come and share all your makes and art and whatever else crafty that you're into or arty. And we are a lovely community of very supportive people, and it's really nice to see what you're making. Anyway, that's enough from me for now. I hope you've enjoyed this. As I say, the template for this is also in the Facebook group in the files section. So if you wanted templates for the little pumpkins, that's all there. Yeah, so have a great day. I will be back here soon with something else. Bye for now.